What's up, guys? It's Matt, and welcome back to NFL predictions. We're in the wild card round finally. Here's everyone's final scores. Shroud had an abysmal final week, going 3-13. And the craziest thing ever is that he started 2-0 on Saturday. The Buccaneers won, and the Seahawks beat the 49ers. So he was 2-0. He only won the Lions versus Bears. He picked against every other team, and they lost. It's insane. And then me and Rep tied 9-7. Just a respectable record, pretty average. I'm sad my Bengals lost as well, but not because we have a better draft pick now. But let's get that out of the way. Let's begin my predictions. And like I said, Rep and Shroud, as you notice, are not here. I will post their picks in the comments. I didn't even ask for their picks because I didn't know if I'd be filming this. I had to do it today because tomorrow obviously are the playoffs. But I'll type in their predictions in the comments section or maybe late in the description so you guys can get their picks. But let's go. Let's go. And after this, I want to do my whole playoff prediction bracket that I'm using ESPN website for. So, here we go. Let's get into this Saturday games. There's two of them. Here's the first one. Just kidding. It's Seattle and Broncos with the 1 seeds, and they get the bye. Rams, Seahawks. This is the first game. For me, this is a pretty easy pick. Panthers barely got in. Rams were firing on all cylinders, basically, until they lost in overtime by scoring a touchdown. Then they lost to the Falcons. Stafford had his worst game, but that was literally his only bad game of the season. He took care of business against the Cardinals. Give me the Rams. Panthers, I'm really glad that they got here, and maybe they can use this experience for the future. I know they've beaten them in the past, but in my opinion, the Rams are beating you 9 times out of 10 here. I actually hope they do win because it would be pretty epic to see. Like that would just be chaos for the playoffs for the Panthers to move on and the Rams out like that. That would be insane. And then at that point, no one knows where the Panthers are going to end up. But good for them for getting here. I'm happy they won the AFC South. Things are looking up. Just not this year. Next up, you got the Packers and Bears on Saturday night. The Packers with Jordan Love kind of injured, didn't play last week. And you see the team is just kind of imploding. Lost to the Vikings very badly. Lost to the Bears last second, and they got dismantled by the Ravens. So, and then lost to the Broncos. So they went 0-4 to end their regular season. Hopefully, yeah, you don't want that momentum. You don't want that momentum to creep up on you here against the 2-seeded Bears, who have been cooking. Lost to the Lions, but didn't play their starters. It's understandable. I think without Micah Parsons and just losing all those pieces, the Packers they're just limping into it. I think since those games have been close, this game will not be close, and I could see the Packers maybe blowing them out. Both defenses will be pretty awful. But I think the Bears got this. I think this is probably one of the best opportunities you have to knock your division rival out of the playoffs. I mean, without Micah Parsons, you would love to see that. You can't imagine just a better scenario for the Bears to be in. And you're playing the 7 seed. I think the worst part is that it's the Packers, but it's just not the Packers team that you thought you'd go against. Probably the best version of the Packers you want is an 0-4 team. I'm just saying, all their gas has been let out. So, I'm going with the Bears here. Could definitely see it going either way, I guess. But I just think the Packers are just might be weaker than the Panthers, because the Panthers, don't forget, Panthers pretty much led all game against the Packers. So I think the Packers are, this might be a hot take, the coldest team in the NFC right now. The worst team in the NFC. So I'm glad they are the 7th seed. Dude, I can't believe this. They were the 1 seed for half of the year. And then things just took a very bad turn. But, yep. It's going to be the Saturday games. Let's move on to Sunday, where Jacksonville is hosting the Buffalo Bills, who are not a top 4 seed because the Patriots win the AFC East there. In my opinion, I think people are underselling what the Jaguars have been doing this season. They have not lost to a bad team. They have not lost to a bad team. They've lost to, they went, 13-4? I can't remember the teams they lost to. They lost to the Texans. They lost to the Seahawks. I think they lost to the Buccaneers, maybe. They haven't lost to, maybe not the Buccaneers. I don't know who they lost to. But they have not lost to a lot of bad teams. And I think even though this is the year that's like, oh man, Josh Allen could finally do it because there's no Patrick Mahomes and there's no Lamar Jackson, there's no Joe Burrow, there's no one who's eliminated him before. But going by the season, the Buffalo Bills are a little too inconsistent for me. And let's not forget, both of these teams do have experience. Trevor Lawrence already has a playoff win under his belt. They've been blowing teams out. Buffalo surprises you with just some weird losses like the Dolphins and Falcons. I like the Jags here. Oh, and they beat the Broncos too. Like, Jags are one of the only teams that have beaten the AFC 1 seed. And I feel like, I don't know. I feel like they might have something put together this season. At least, especially at the end where they've been going apeshit. So I know this may be like, oh my god, he's just picking favorites. Listen, the Bills are favored, by the way. No one believes in the Jags. So even if I'm picking higher seeds, it's not at all what people think, you know? It's an unpopular opinion. I think the Jags are just underrated, and people are overlooking them, and the Buffalo Bills might do just that. Especially the Buffalo Bills defense can never be trusted in the playoffs. Never. 49ers, Eagles, a Cowboys fan's worst dream. Absolute nightmare for Cowboys fans seeing these two teams face off. But if you are a Cowboys fan, the best thing is that one of these teams is guaranteed eliminated. So that you got that going for you. Now, which team is going to win? This game could definitely be the hardest to pick, but it wasn't for me. So, the 49ers lost to the Seahawks last week, but other than that, they've been clicking a lot. They also lost to the Jags. Like I said, the Jags are just beating a lot of playoff teams. But there's something about the Eagles in the playoffs that they just know how to put it together. Jalen Hurts could be a mid-ass quarterback all regular season, but he turns it on in the playoffs. And I think he could do just enough, especially at home, to get past the wild card round. So I'm going to go with the Eagles. I'm going with my gut. Eagles defense is really good. Offense hasn't been good, but I feel like they can figure it out just in time. And the 49ers, I know they've gotten through a lot of adversary, right? That's the word? Adversity, good God. They've gone through a lot of adversity through this season and injuries piling up. That at some point, if you're just winning all those games, just like the Lions, it's just going to come back to bite you. It always does in the playoffs. You can't just get by. Well, I don't know if we've seen this a lot, where a team just wins a lot of one-score games, and then they just get by in the playoffs. It almost never happens. Like the Vikings, who went 14-3 in 11 score, like 11-0 in one-score games, right? We saw them lose to the Giants. And they went 14-3 another year. And then they lose to the Lions week 18 and then get manhandled by the Rams and the Lions, by the way. So all I'm saying is it just doesn't. These wins where your team is riddled with injuries, just like the Lions last year too, just doesn't. Not a good recipe. Not a good recipe. I trust Philadelphia more. They're more healthy, and you have to trust the healthier team in the playoffs. You just have to. Chargers, Patriots. This was the hardest game for me to pick of Wild Card Weekend. It's mostly because I'm like, I feel like the Chargers could make, like they know how to beat teams even with that terrible offensive line. Justin Herbert knows how to win these games, but the thing is he's not good in the playoffs. He hasn't showed any sort of eliteness in the playoffs. You kind of feel like he's due for it, but I can't. After Justin Herbert's last playoff game, I have to see it to believe it at this point. Like just prove it, win this game, but I have to pick the Patriots. I have to pick Drake May. Drake the schedule May, okay? I know it's a whole different beast in the playoffs and they've faced absolutely nobody, but they're a better team than a lot of teams for a reason, in my opinion. You know, people saw their schedule at the beginning of the season, and they still said 6-7 wins. I'm sorry, I did not mean to do that, but what I mean is like they still saw mediocrity. So for them to even win 14 games when people already knew what their schedule was going to be, by the way, I think people are blowing this out of proportion. Like, no one, like, you're just not, you can't just look at their schedule, right, and predict their record, and then they do way better than you thought, and then you're like, oh, well, they have an easy schedule. I get that. Then why didn't you predict them to win 14 games? That's all I'm saying. So Vrabel has really overachieved, and that's a good thing. It's cool. They proved a lot of doubters, including me, myself. I had them at 6-11. I am not excited to react to my records. I don't think I got even like 3 right this year, or even close to that. But listen, they have an easy schedule. They had an easy schedule, but I think they're a better team even with that. Like they blow teams out of the water. Some teams can't even hang with terrible teams. And the Patriots were always beating the shit out of them. They're well-disciplined. They're well-coached because Mike Vrabel's amazing. And this should be a good game. I can't wait for it. I think the Patriots just squeak them out. Especially, I think the Patriots, like, defense could make a similar play to Aaron Donald against the Bengals in the Super Bowl, where he just shuts off the final play. It could come down to one final play, and then you just get shut down immediately because of that rushing defense. Herbert. And, it makes sense because he's not good under pressure in the playoffs. We'll see. This game is the one I most look forward to because it's really interesting. Final game, it's kind of a dud. Texans-Steelers. Steelers made it into the playoffs by Ravens missing a 44-yard field goal. And Tyler Loop didn't even miss pretty much anything before that. Houston Texans are the hottest team in the NFL. Hottest team in the NFL going into the playoffs. You do not want to play this team. Aaron Rodgers, by the way, Ravens missed the kick a little further. Maybe the same age as Aaron Rodgers. I mean, good God. The same yards as the same age as Aaron Rodgers. So we got a 40-year-old quarterback against the greatest defense in the league, in my opinion. I mean, how the fuck do you think this is going to go? Genuinely, how do you think this is going to go? And we know the Steelers are not good. They have not been good in the playoffs. They're a team that just is full of mediocrity, 10-7, 9-8, whatever they want. They're barely in the playoffs. They either win their division, but they just barely get in every single time. And then there's a team they go up against, and they get fucking destroyed. They are wasting a playoff spot every single year for a team that I think could put up a better fight than this team. All right? So, I'm going with the Texans. I mean, it's definitely not a hot take, but I don't see how they can win this. Like, CJ Stroud has to have a Justin Herbert playoff performance. He has to throw 4 picks for in my opinion, for this to be close. Like, the Steelers scored a lot of points against the Ravens, but they also allowed touchdowns. All their touchdowns came from 70-yard plays, broken coverage. I do not trust the Steelers' defense, the most expensive defense in the league, versus the best defense in the league, basically. Yeah, it's a good story. It's a good narrative for this game. Everybody's like, oh my God, Aaron Rodgers is on his last, like, this is his time to shine. He'll never get another chance. We said this every year when he was with the Packers. We're like, okay, Packers are going to make the playoffs, and then they're going to go on a run in Rodgers last year. You know what happened that year? They lost the fucking Lions in Week 18 and missed the playoffs. And everyone thought Rodgers was done. And then we're like, oh my God, Jets, including me, Jets are going to make a run with it. Like, guys, Aaron Rodgers is not Jesus Christ in the playoffs. All right? So that's all I'm saying. And he's 40. He just doesn't have it anymore. It'd be cool. It'd be cool for him to prove me wrong, but I just don't see it against the hottest team in the NFL. And that is going to be my predictions. Let's go ahead and do our NFL actual playoff bracket. This will be every game because I don't think I'm going to go 6-0. So, it's just going to be fun to have the whole bracket here. And then you'll just kind of see my games as they go. So, we're going to go with our games that we pick. Oh, shit. Oh, I don't know what. Give it 1 second. NFL playoff brackets. I want like a generator. I want like pick game. What are we doing? Playoff machine? There we go. There we go. This is what we wanted, I think. Is it? So like if I pick Patriots. No. Okay. Free playoff predictor. There we go. So I was on the wrong website. Okay, here we go. This is what we want. Okay. I'll zoom in. Here we go. So I picked Patriots. I picked Jags. I picked Texans. I picked Bears. I picked Eagles. And I picked Rams. And listen, I know I picked pretty much all the higher seeds. But some of these, like the Bills are favored. 49ers might even be favored. I think Packers are favored. Like, so I these aren't even like weak ass picks. Okay, here's where it gets crazy. Okay, remember what I said about the teams that are winning all these 1-score games, and they just look weaker than they are, and then they get to the playoffs and they get fucking dunked on by just a casually good team. This is what I think about the Broncos. I think the Texans beat the Broncos. Last game was Davis Mills. They played them with Davis Mills. They won 17-14. It took a last-minute field goal. So all I'm saying is, I know Davis Mills might have looked like the better quarterback for the Texans this year, but this is a team that is full strength, and it's the playoffs. And the Texans haven't gotten past the second round. And I think they're in the best spot to do it. No hate to Broncos. but I have never believed in them. I know that they win a lot of games, but they're not a convincing team. I'm sorry. I with the utmost respect, they're just not a convincing team. They don't do it for me. And then we get the Jaguars versus the Patriots. Patriots get past the Chargers. I think that's a good defense. They're going to get a little beaten up. I think the Jags make it, and we're going to get an AFC South matchup in the AFC Championship, and rightfully so. And you got the Seahawks. We get a nice, because the higher seeds won, but then the 5 seed won, it's going to set up the Rams and the Seahawks in the divisional. And I'm so glad, because I feel like we're going to get this game no matter what happens. Unless the Panthers win. As long as the Rams win, I think Seahawks and Rams will meet up at some point in the playoffs. And that might give you an idea of who I'm picking here. So, we get this matchup. Very close games each time. Absolute bangers. This game would be absolute cinema if it happened again. All right? Absolute cinema. And I think the team that gets it here, gets the job done, is the most consistent team in the NFL right now. Probably the best team in the NFL. Not just the hottest. But the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks get past that hump. And they make it to the NFC Championship game. I don't know why it doesn't say at Seahawks, like there's a better, like the 1 seed isn't just going to get advantage anyway because there's no higher seed, but whatever. Eagles Bears is a tough one for me. Now, I have made my bracket. I've made this bracket before. I'm just explaining it to you guys. So I know every game I'm picking here. But this, when I was looking at my bracket, this was probably the hardest one to pick if this game happens. Bears, Eagles. It was a close matchup on Black Friday, but the Bears really just owned the game the whole time. I think they're going to do it again. I think we get Seahawks, Bears in the NFC Championship. And I know it's the 1 and 2 seed, but I don't think anybody saw this coming. I don't think anybody would predict the Bears making the NFC Championship. Not a lot of people would. I think there will be a lot of Bears haters. And for that reason, since a lot of people don't see them doing it, and they're underselling the team, I just think the Seahawks are the best team in the league. I think they're doing it. I think they're making the Super Bowl out of the NFC. They're the best team by far. I think it's going to be the Rams or the Seahawks. Maybe the Eagles if they can get clicking. I honestly, I can see a lot of teams. I can see a lot of teams doing it here in the NFC. But AFC is pretty much wide open for anybody to take it. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills beat the Jags. And then you get Bills-Broncos, and the Bills could beat the Broncos. Right? And you wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos win or the Patriots win. So, there's just a... I think pretty much everyone but the Steelers has a chance to make the AFC Championship game. I fully mean that. Like, there's definitely a world. But for the Texans and Jags, who makes the Super Bowl... It's going to be just like that game where the Texans had to come back against the Jags to start their winning streak, to start hot. Wouldn't that be just a photo book game that the team that started your hotness, your hot streak, is the game that gets you to the Super Bowl? Give me the this has been my prediction since, I want to say, maybe 1.5 months ago, so 6 weeks before the NFL season was over. I was like, Texans, Seahawks, Super Bowl. I was dead set on it. And I think what confirmed it was the Seahawks beating the Rams in Week 17. I was like, Week 16. I was like, this is it. This is going to be my Super Bowl prediction. Two of the hottest teams in the NFL. They ride that momentum. Momentum's really important in the playoffs. They ride it all the way to the Super Bowl. Who wins it? It's got to be the more complete team for me. And these dirt defenses are so good, and defense wins championships. I really think there's a good chance this is the Super Bowl. And especially with the season that we've had, a 5 seed being in the Super Bowl, it just makes perfect sense, right? It makes perfect sense to have the 1 and 2 seed go down in the divisional, 5v3, like all kinds of seeds in the championships. This is the perfect storybook ending for a crazy NFL season. These are the 4 teams you see in the Final Four. I'm just saying. And I think it's very possible. Now, who wins Seahawks-Texans? Like I said, it's got to be the more consistent team. And there is a team that I can rely more on offense. It's going to be Sam Darnold versus CJ Stroud. Would be crazy. But I think a team's run game is better as well. Like we saw against the 49ers. They literally could not stop them from a 3rd and 17, and they ran the ball. Like, this team has it all, man. I'm going with the Seattle Seahawks as the Super Bowl champion. I didn't even know this was a graphic. That's cool. The screen goes black for that one team. That's cool. I got the Seahawks winning the Super Bowl. They've been the best team all season long. They haven't lost to a bad team at all. They have shown fight in every single game. They have defense. They have the offense. All people are worried about is Sam Darnold. And I just think the situation that the Vikings put themselves in at the end of the season may have impacted what Sam Darnold did at the end. I think they won a lot of one-score games, too. It's not like the Vikings handled business every time. But Sam Darnold had a great year until the end. And now you're looking at him having pretty much a great season all year long. And he doesn't have any negative momentum like what happened with the Lions, what happened with the Rams at the end of the season to ruin this momentum. So a hot Sam Darnold is nothing to poke fun at. And I really think it's just going to be that weird of a quarterback Super Bowl. It's going to make no sense. But to those who know ball, it does. Both great defenses, but the more consistent team gets the job done. And that is going to be my playoff bracket and my playoff predictions for this wild card. This could all change if, let's say, the Bills win. But nonetheless, that's my playoff bracket. It's going to be a great playoff. And I can't wait to see who wins this thing. But thank you guys for watching. And I will see you next time. Hakuna Matata.